Hey, number ones, welcome to Metatron's Academy. I found another one. Like, look at this. We've got interview with man born in 1842. I mean, personally, the colorized 4K is kind of irrelevant to me. I don't particularly care, but I'm interested to see how does he speak. Because, I like focusing on the accent apart from what he actually says. So we're going to focus on both what he says and how he says it. All right, so let's see what information we can get. So first and foremost, we've got listen to an 87-year-old farmer born in 1842 talk about life in the 1800s and how things have changed. Please like and subscribe for more. Right, so this was filmed in July 13th, 1929 in New York. That is insane. So since it's only 2 minutes and 17 seconds, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it play so we can really focus on what he's saying and how he's saying, and then I'll replay it, but I'll stop it every 3 seconds just to provide commentary. How about that? You'll find a link in the description and pinned comment if you want to check the channel. Let's go. No sound.
Why, I don't exactly call it work. You know what work is? You don't. Why, work's doing something you have to do. When you're doing something that you want to do, like to do, that's play. Now, a good many years ago, I don't like to tell you quite how many, but, well, I was born in the first half of the last century, so you can guess how old I am. I worked. And now I'm in the, pretty well along in the next century. And now I exercise a little, but I don't call it work. I don't call this work. Why, this is play. You see how nice that is?
You've seen many things happen, change in your day, Mr. King?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We live in a world of change. The trees are just the same as they were when I was a boy, only larger. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But when I was a boy, we didn't have the telegraph, and we didn't have the telephone, of course, nor the electric lights, nor any of these other things which have come up to bother us and help us. The good old days were pretty good, pretty good. Don't you boys think that you're living in just the best time in the world's history? It's first rate, but it's no better than our fathers had, and I don't believe it's very much better than our grandchildren. Yes, that's Hudson over there. Nice little city. Why, I remember very well looking out of my window. I would see anywhere from 10 to 20, hardly ever less than 10 sailing vessels on the river. Now I don't see more than one in 3 months. Very few steamboats. Everybody went to New York then if they wanted to go in Duluth style. Why, they take a steamboat. If they want to go cheap, they go on one of our river sloops.
Wow, this was fascinating. I have. Oh no, what the heck? I have so much to say. So, first and foremost, he's adorable. I'm just going to put it out there. And not only this is great because we can analyze a few things on his speech patterns and pronunciation characteristics of the time, but I think we can learn a lot by listening to this man. So he's aged 87, very, very sharp, very, it's impressive, really is. I love his monologue on the idea of what work is. In fact, some people, I agree with him 100%, but I think sometimes we're so busy in this day and age that we don't stop to focus really on what we're doing and how we're doing it. And he's absolutely right. They say that if you do a job you like, you will not work a single day in your life. And so, yeah, I agree with that. Let's have a look. Okay.
Why, I don't exactly call it work.
Work. Did you notice that? So this is a characteristics of what would be considered old school, kind of street Eastern North American accent. So it would be common on some areas, even of the roads of New York, for instance. It's not necessarily a New York accent because not every person who has a New York accent or vintage New York accent would have this feature. but some did. So there. So if you notice, work, woik.
You know what work is? You don't.
Mm-hmm.
Why, work's doing something you have to do.
Yes.
When you're doing something that you want to do, like to do, that's play.
Like to do. That is, in fact, a remnant of. You can tell this guy was born in the 1840s. By the way, he adds an interesting raising terminal and a little bit of a stress in to do. And that's a characteristic that we even find in late Victorian speech. And it's common, in fact, on both the British Isles and American colonies. So it's a little bit of what we could say a feature that then enters the transatlantic accent. I remember, to give you an example on a Victorian situation, there was this recording, and at the time, of course, there was no video. But the recording, the man was speaking and he says, as I often do. So it was even more exaggerated in the Victorian period, but he still has a little bit of that feature, which, as I say, enters the transatlantic.
Now, a good many years ago, I don't like to tell you quite how many, but... Well,
how many instead of many?
Well, I was born in the first half of the last century, so...
Last century, so he's dropping the T there, which is common. I mean, a lot of T's have dropped even in modern accents. So you can guess how old I am.
You can guess how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
I work.
Awake.
And now I'm in the... pretty well along in the next century. And now I exercise a little, but I don't call it work.
So he does have a flapping. So his T's, rather than being fully pronounced or enunciated, are instead swapped for soft D's. So you can see that even people who were born in the 1840s already had that characteristic, which is typical not only of North American accents. When you say, for instance, beauty or British, right? It's like a T, but it's a soft D, really. But it's also found in Australian accents. So while Australian and North American are completely different, and in fact Australian accents are somewhat closer to English accents than they are to any other form, but they do have this characteristic, which, as I say, it's called flapping, in common with North American accents. He already had it.
I don't call this work. Why, this is play.
Play.
See how nice that is?
I love him.
You seen many things happen, change in your days, King?
Oh, yes. We live in a world of change.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about it. I mean, think about it. He's going to go into the technology section now because, of course, the phone and the telegraph are cutting-edge technology for him. That would be... This man has never lived to see TVs or computers, never mind. Could you imagine that?
The trees are just the same as they were when I was a boy, only larger.
Mm.
The sun rises in the
That
east
is a
and
beautiful
sets in the
thought.
west.
Yes.
But when I was a boy, we didn't have the telegraph, and we didn't have the telephone, of course.
I like the distinction between an unchanging nature and a changing artificial technology instead.
Nor the electric lights, nor any of these other things which have come up to bother us.
Even electric lights when he was a boy. Can you imagine that? So probably oil lamps was the form of illumination that he has experienced as normal as he was growing up.
And help us.
Let me hear that one
These
again.
other things which have come up to bother us and help us.
Isn't that interesting? So he perceives tech as something that can bother you or help you. Isn't that still so true, like with modern phones? It still runs true, and I think it always will. It always will. He's absolutely right. Notice that his accent is non-rhotic. He does not pronounce his R's when they are at the end of a word. So they're like turned into a schwa, or when they are preceding a consonant. But he does pronounce them when they're followed by a vowel.
The good old days were pretty good. Pretty good. Don't you boys think that you're living in just the best time in the world's history?
Mm-hmm.
It's first rate. But it's no better than our fathers had, and I don't believe it's very much better than our grandchildren.
Of course, better or worse is subjective, I suppose, inference.
Yes, that Hudson over there.
Over there.
Nice little city.
See? Nice little city. His D is T's.
Why, I remember very well looking out of my window, I would see anywhere from 10 to 20, hardly ever less than 10 sailing vessels on the river. Now I don't see more than 1 in 3 months.
This is a very interesting observation when it comes to how, as he explaining, it's basically the boom of the urban city of New York, which is now attracting a lot of work inside the city rather than, I imagine, going outward.
Very few steamboats. Everybody went to New York then if they wanted to go in the loose style. Why, they take a steamboat. If they want to go cheap, they go on one of our river sloops.
Phenomenal. Let me read the comments.
It's a voice rarely heard. The voice.
Let me read the comments. This man made me change my outlook on work. Absolutely. 100%. Alla Wiggle. This is crazy. Need that man born in 1700s though. This is what I'm looking for. Bingo. Have you found it yet? So I imagine they're talking about a different video. Is he still alive? What would he be, like 180? And he says yes. Yes, he is 183 now, still going strong as ever, of course. I believe he's still collecting Social Security. Yeah, I mean, probably. I was being sarcastic. No, you weren't. Sure he is. That was a good one. I loved it. Okay, yeah, that was a very nice video. Loved watching these. Whenever I find one of these, by the way, I'll always react and provide commentary because it's really, really fun. And I think we can always learn from people who are older than us, can't we? And particularly people who come from different centuries as well. Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much.